What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Carl Froch, Jake Paul, Eddie Hearn. Get this. Eddie Hearn predicts Jake Paul versus Carl Froch. He would decimate him. Eddie Hearn has given his thoughts on the fresh beef that emerged between Carl Froch and Jake Paul. Paul called Froch out for a fight on social media earlier this week, prompting a comical back and forth between himself and the Cobra. Hearn, however, told Boxing Social that he doesn't see a potential fight between the two as being particularly competitive. He says Froch hasn't boxed for 8 or 9 years, but he's still a right handful. He'd be very rusty against Jake Paul, but he'd get a hold of him and absolutely decimate him. But it's good for Frochy, good bit of exposure for him back in the limelight. He's dying to fight. Is Carl, really. That's the bottom line. Those are the words of Eddie Hearn, and let me counterpunch. Listen, uh, you can't compare what's going to happen tomorrow to what could potentially happen to Jake Paul if he stepped in the ring with Carl Froch. I mean, if you look at Carl Froch's record, like if you really pay attention to Carl Froch is one of those type of cats that he was one of the best in his era. I mean, he absolutely fought everyone that was there. You know, you have a guy with 33 wins, 2 losses, 24 by knockout, okay? And his 2 losses were to Andre Ward, and the only person that beat him without avenging it was Andre Ward, which, of course, is an undefeated, phenom all by himself. But Mikael Kessler was a guy that he avenged, so he got his pound of flesh. Of course, that's historic for me because that was one of the last fights that my mom and my father saw, when my mom was alive. So, very good fight, though, nonetheless. But besides that, man, Lucien Bute, Andre Ward, Glenn Johnson, Arthur Abraham, Andre Darrell, Jermaine Taylor, John Pascal. Listen, this guy has a resume out of this world. And someone that is a real boxer, it's like riding a bicycle, people. You don't forget anything. You're right, reflexes might be off, but I mean, that's with anything. But if someone catches you with the fast twitch muscle and the muscle memory that they have instilled innate in them within, it's the end of Jake Paul. But honestly, I'm with Eddie Hearn. I don't think that's going to happen because Jake Paul has already created a hula hoop or a wall, and the reason why him not fighting someone like Cobra. And the thing is, he actually expected Cobra or asking Cobra to prove himself. You want Carl Froch, a 4-time champion, to prove himself to you, a YouTuber. Now he's gone way too far, and it just shows you how these kids are very disrespectful to the elders. And if that did happen, if Carl Froch was that determined to show, hey, you know what? Let me fight Anderson Silva. Let me do exactly what he said and back his ass into a corner. That's if he gets past Tommy Fury. But if he doesn't, none of this matters anyway, because Jake Paul may be on the receiving end for his stuff packing and going off and walking off into the sunset, right? Because the game is over. You did fight a guy that's a boxer. That's not a UFC guy. That's not late 30s or in their 40s or almost 50. You're fighting a guy your age and you can't handle him. So there's no need to keep talking about Carl Froch, because if Tommy beats you, what do you think Carl Froch would do to you? Absolutely worse. That's what he will do. But it is humorous to hear Eddie Hearn say decimate. But he is true. I mean, some people you don't mess with, some people you don't call out, And someone like Carl Froch, like Andre Ward, I think those guys stay in shape because deep down in their heart, they do want to come back to the sport. Maybe they're just waiting for the right opportunity. Maybe this is the right opportunity for Carl Froch. But you hear him talk about the sport. You hear how passionate he is in his voice. Fuck the nose job. He still wants to get it on, and this may be a way to do it. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Eddie Hearn's prediction of Jake Paul going in there with Carl the Cobra Froch. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!